looking for the master.
Ain't no masters here, dude. Ain't no slaves either.
Is this not his fortune cookie factory?
The master, he doing his wisdom thing.
I seek only wisdom of the master.
You want wisdom? You buy a fortune cookie.
Take a hike, cool breeze.
Yeah, baby.
Please, I must see the master. It is very important to me.
Look here, chump. The master don't see nobody, especially no jive coolies.
Yeah, he don't see no one who don't know how to get down, baby.
Right,
You
down.
dig, bro? You too square, man.
Square, dude.
Let me say it so he can understand it, Jim. You go now. Chop, chop. Holy ass out of this place. Am I saying right, my man? That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Like asa la pasta, you know?
Ciao, baby.
Finishes,
Auf Wiedersehen, baby.
asa la migo.
Sayonara.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Sayonara. Hold it, hold it.
I say we kill him. Yeah! I say we hang him, then we kill him. Yeah! I say we stomp him. Yeah! Then we tattoo him. Yeah! Then we hang him. Yeah! And then we kill him. Yeah! I say we let him go. No!
I say you let me have him first.
Thanks a lot, dudes.
I hope you find your bike, man.
An asteroid bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, measuring about 525 feet, will be passing by Earth today. And for space standards, it'll be considered a close encounter, but the asteroid will still be about 3.6 million miles away. Now, this isn't the first time an asteroid has gotten this close to the planet, but it's getting attention because of its size.
Most of them zip by our planet without any incident. But they are a wake-up call to the future, so that in the future, if we don't discover those objects early enough to be able to do something about it, they could collide with our planet and cause damage. Again, the chance of that happening anytime soon is slim.
Very slim. An even bigger asteroid is expected to get close to Earth next week. However, space experts still say that these asteroids, they won't be visible to the naked eye.
So slim, but there's still a chance.
That's exactly
I guess.
Okay.
I raised my eyebrow like,
I know.
I doubt
stuff.
it. I doubt it. You probably could sleep easy, I'm sure.
I hope so. Every time I see those stories, I'm like,
I know. It's cringing.
It's only in the movies.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good
only in
word
the
for it.
movies, you guys, okay?
Have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Because you can see the stars.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon.
It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
Space is fake AF.
Mashed potatoes.
Space is fake AF.
There's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas.
It don't matter. Say the sky was not the limit. We fly to the moon in another second. But we haven't been back since 1972.
I gotta play the didgeridoo.
Destroyed all the papers and blew up the Challenger crew. Except for
gets younger.
Space is fake AF. Space is fake AF.
Look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine.
Hey, space boy, you broke my Rocket Man heart.
You can smell a little roast beef.
Where are the stars? Is it bright or is it dark? The vacuum of space, oh the tomfoolery.
I think Sandy's hair is pretty much a dead giveaway.
What happens if you get a leak on that? You have a leak.
Deep over my bubble.
It's hard to comprehend.
Space is fake AF.
Two little bitty O-rings.
Space is fake AF.
It's not what you think, homeboy.
Space is fake AF.
It's all just start doing this.
Space is fake AF.
Research Eddie Bravo. You just have a leak, and what you would do is lose air.
Hey, idiots! The bong stays in the treehouse.
Hey, boy.
Are you crazy? What if the cops come? You're here too?
Yeah, must be weird for you. And think about this, man. The whole world is happening right now. I mean, India, China, it's crazy.
Can you just leave me here with my dad?
All right, sure. I can fly! No, I can't!
Just standing up for my rights as a consumer. I'm rolling back prices to 1965. What do you think of that? Donuts. Package of 6, how much? $1.12. Oh! Too much. Aspirin. Price?
$3.40.
Oh, please. AA batteries, package of 4.
$4.29.
Nice try. Well, I think this whole shelf looks suspect. One soda. 12 ounces.
50 cents.
Sold.
We are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Everything's alive. it's flat, it's flat. They lied to us about 9/11. There was no planes in that attack, that attack, that attack. It was attack on us, on us, on us, on us.
Don't trust fake news.
Hey, what up, guys? What up? Welcome to another episode of Hugh TV. I think that was the longest intro. Hello, Steffi.
Hello.
How are you?
That was pretty long.
You know, I knew that you guys were coming in late, and I just needed to stall. And, you know, I like my intros.
It was good.
Yes, and what do you think about that song, the music video of Christian Knapp and Ray Betts?
I think they're doing awesome. I really enjoyed watching them out there, just getting better and better, putting everything they have into it. You know, going around. I wouldn't, not necessarily waking people up, but definitely just bringing good vibes everywhere they went. You know, and you could just feel it. Like people were so receptive. So they were delivering truth in a way that wasn't putting people off in any way. It was just making people want. See, the thing is, if you are you are the type of person that people want to connect with, and they're going to want to hear what you have to hear. And that's what I kind of saw with them, is that people were kind of drawn towards them. They want to know what you're talking about, where, it doesn't matter if you're not in the right frame of mind, and you don't have the right energy, the right vibe about you, and you're approaching someone, it doesn't matter how good your information is. They're going to be deterred by you. But yeah, I saw a lot of good vibing going on with them and their music. And it was so nice to see all the places that they went together. It was really nice. Everybody enjoyed it, I think.
It was all natural too, It wasn't forced, very organic. And it was all about people. That's what I really liked about it. They did all the work, all the preparing, all the loading of the gear, all the driving of the miles. They did it for people. And I think we forgot that in a sense, because we're in a digital age, right? So everything's over the screen. But they actually met these people face to face. I got to hand it to them. That's kind of like once in a lifetime event for someone to do, especially in truth. And they're making all these friends.
On stage. They booked gigs. They jumped up on stage, spontaneously, and they just got out there. It was really cool to see.
Yes. So good job, Ray. Good job, Christian.
Good job.
So this episode is called Welcome to the Spirit Realm. And looky who just joined us, Rasta Bear.
Oh,
greetings.
He's early. I was late. Hi, Rasta.
Hi, Stephi. Good to see you. Good to see you, Hugh. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the Spirit Realm, guys. For those who are here, you guys made it. You guys are interested in the Spirit Realm, whether you believe it or not. You guys are here, and that is a big thing, to cross over from the physical to the spiritual. It is definitely a leap. Would you say a leap of faith?
It is. Well, it's something, you start with faith, but then once you contact your spiritual self, then you no longer need faith, because like you have these abilities that are there. And faith almost weakens those abilities, as opposed to just knowing you have them and empowering yourself with that knowledge and wisdom that it's, and that feeling inside you where it's like, yeah, I have the fire inside of me, and it's like, you got to own that. And that's why you can't just be like, I think I have the fire inside me. I hope I do. Like that was Obama's slogan, for his campaign, was hope. And, it's a nice word, because we all hope for things, but like, we have to also like want and know that we have things, like victory over the evil. And with truth, we have the ability to, just be true. And then that conquers all, just in itself.
I think someone's. Am I echoing? Echo.
Are you echoing? It might be my dog chewing this ball. This ball here. She goes psycho over it. She's staring at me right now because of it. But it's like, I think it glows in the dark even, but it makes the worst noise when she chews on it. And yeah, she tends to be an instigator when I'm doing streams and stuff, like always trying to get at my attention and whatnot.
I think someone have YouTube on in the background.
No YouTube, and no, I can turn my volume down a little bit. It might be too high there. That might fix it a little bit.
Hello.
But I got that.
I still hear it. I'm gonna mute. Okay.
Okay. But now is it still echoing?
Hello, echo.
Echo 1, echo 2.
I think we're good.
All right. Try turn your echo cancellation. Make sure that's off on your Stephi. Might be. That's what I did. I did half a stream the other night where I didn't turn my echo cancellation off, and so like I had a lot to say. It was at the beginning of like my spiritual, like where like it was. I've always had the light inside me, but like it was at the beginning of this where like one night I was just sitting on my sofa and I felt this river of just light. It was still, I still hear the echo, but I'm not sure why.
I turned off the echo cancellation.
Yeah, I don't know why it's still doing that. I know it's, yeah, when that happens to me too, it's like I'm.
How about this? How about this? You two exits and then come back. I just kicked them off. I'm not echoing, so it sounds like my end is fine. Let's add Rasta. All right, Rasta, talk.
Yo, I know echo.
Okay, it's not Rasta and it's not me.
Me, I know got the echo.
So if Steph comes on and echoes, it's Steph. But if she doesn't, then we fixed it.
Yeah, it's the echo cancellation. It's my dog Poochie. She's she wants to say hi because I got the ball here.
Your dog's name's Poochie.
So she has to say hi. And what this brings up a synchronicity that it happened right as I was driving home, Hugh. This is wild. Like I was watching your intro. I had the window open watching like the intro, but I still had my Spotify playing, right? And so like we were watching it, my daughter saw like the scene from The Simpsons where they're all just like cheeching it up, you know, Homer's cheeching. And she's like, "What? You're watching The Simpsons?" And then like right after that scene, right, we were listening, my Spotify is on random play, right? And we were listening to this one song, and then right after that scene came on, the Simpsons came on my Spotify and started playing because I have like the Treehouse of Horror Simpsons on there, and it came on and started playing right after your scene.
Nice. Hey, I was talking to Steph today, and she had an amazing synchronicity. But before we share about that, Steph, I think you might be echoing, but when I do mute you, you don't echo.
That's what I think. Did you check your settings, Steph, in the echo cancellation? You go to settings and then click on audio.
I did.
I
turned off echo cancellation.
Turn it on or off?
It's this microphone. Hold on.
It might be the microphone that's doubling. I don't know.
Is that
it? Looks
better?
like.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah. No, still hear an echo a little bit. Let's see.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello.
If we mute,
what the heck?
it doesn't echo. Like I'm muting her now, and it's not echoing.
It's all right. We got time to fix this. We it's troubleshooting. It happens. It definitely has happened a lot on my show.
Nasa says put on some headphones. You got headphone stuff?
I don't know, because this hasn't happened before on her show. I mean, when she's had Brian on and stuff, so.
Okay.
We're usually on Zoom.
Oh, on Zoom, yeah.
I'm gonna mute her for now.
Okay.
But what would you say, Rasta, to the person who is like 1 foot? Okay, it's mainly physical. There's no spiritual, and then maybe another foot just leaning in over a bit onto the spiritual. Everyone's at their different stages of getting the spiritual, and you've been in it for a while now. But what would you say to someone who's just maybe new at it, doesn't really know much, is not a believer yet? What would you say?
Well, I would say that's the first step is to believe, and to like really believe that there is something else out there, because like it's not going to affect you in the same way if you don't believe and give it, its validation from our Creator that there is more to this, that we are just, basically spirit bodies inside of a meat suit here in this realm. And this is really just like a playground for us to be in. And it's also a testing ground, where it's like we go through test after test, and sometimes if we don't learn the test, we repeat, and we get lots of chances. It's not like something where it's like you're damned to hell if you don't get it right the first time. I think honestly, like the real hell is going to be the separation from those who have achieved full Merkaba activation and been able to transfer out of their physical bodies when this is all done. Because like right now, you got to have a balance between like your physical body and your spiritual light body, because you have to use your physical body in the flesh right now to navigate through this reality in this realm. And so you have to have the balance. But to really, I mean, you should be able to see it in people all around the world. Like, how do you think people are so talented, so gifted, so able to go through with their lyrical skills, with their, skills of art and all these things? Those things, they come to them through our consciousness being connected to the ether. Because the ether, that's how people are getting downloads of information that they've never had before, that they've never had a clue, had these thoughts before, because our memories aren't stored in our brains. That's a big misconception. Our brains are used for a lot of other things, but like our memories, in my interpretation, are stored up in the cloud. And then we have access to them through emotions and feelings. And that's one reason why it's important to be true and truthful and upright and not live in lies and deceptions, because when you live in lies and deceptions, you create an alternate memory bank up in the ether, in the clouds, and then you have to choose between your true reality and your deception, because you have certain people that know your true story, and then other people you're trying to lie to or deceive, and that type of thing causes not only a separation from your memories, so it causes you to be forgetful and miss up on things, but it also, can contribute to dementia later on in life. At least that's a theory that I'd first heard Owen Benjamin mention. And then I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense. Why people, I'm not saying that all dementia is caused that way. I mean, there's a lot of aluminum in cooking products and in our deodorants and things like that. And even what they, spray. So,
I do believe that there is that ether that we're tapping into. However, with those really talented people like those Michael Jordans and like just geniuses, I think they've done this before. And let's say multiple lives, they've accumulated wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And they're tapping into that from experience. And that's why they're so talented at what they do, Like I see some of these athletes, I'm like, oh my goodness, that is just amazing. And of course, everything comes from God. God is all energy. But these people have major effort into their skill, and they are just being like Michael Jackson. He's like, holy moly, from the age of 5 to the day he died, he mastered his craft, his art. And I think his mom even says that, he just had it in him. Like he just knew it. No one had to teach him. So where does he get that from?
Well, see, I did a stream I started my stream off a couple weeks ago with Michael Jackson, the Moonwalker movie, because I was, wanting to focus and talk about Michael Jackson a little bit, because not only, his journey is so unique, and the way that they demonized him in the end of his career as well, was really unique, because he was coming out and talking about Hollywood. And then also how after he got his nose job done, and it was like, like flat in the front there, like he was almost identical to the Sphinx. If you've ever seen a picture of the Sphinx and Michael Jackson side by side, like they're one and the same.
Yeah, I saw that photo.
And so you're like, well, that's wild. So how is that so? And so I think it's a combination of things. I think that there's these certain entities, or like these spirits that people can invoke and call upon, and
Or maybe in his previous life he was the Sphinx.
Well, maybe that that could be as well. There's definitely a soul recycling program going on, because I don't know if, like, I broke it down fairly well the other day about on Brian's show about how I interpret that we are in a full-on simulation, and it's been that way since probably creation, that we are in a simulation, but we are light bodies inside of that simulation, and so we operate as this is a reality, because in all intents and purposes it is a reality, because it's the only reality that we have. But in other aspects of it, and the way to actually it functions is it is a simulation, every bit of it. There's ley lines, like the Kaaba stone, or
Yes.
like
maybe simulation is not the right word. Maybe it's just training ground.
But it's digital though. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is digital. Like,
before we continue, I want to make sure Steffi's okay. Steffi, you there? Steffi, are you there? Are you listening?
Oh,
I don't hear an
you're
echo
muted.
now.
I'm here. I'm just trying to figure something out.
I think you might be okay now.
Yeah, I'm not hearing an echo now.
Well,
Oh,
I
wait,
did turn it down, but
I heard it.
can't find any other. Oh, hold on a second. I might
try headphones.
Okay, wait, she's still working on it. She's.
You think it's a digital simulation, like ones and zeros?
Is it okay now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds good. Excellent.
No, I can't hear you. Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah, it sounds good now. Can you hear us?
that's why I can't hear you.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me try it without the earphones. Okay.
Okay.
Is it
All
okay
right.
now?
Yeah.
A little echo. Yeah, there's
A
echo.
little.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep them plugged in then.
Okay.
I have to plug them in because they won't hook up.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah.
So you think our this realm is the digital ones and zero?
Yes, I'm pretty I'm 1,000,000% convinced of it at this point. I've seen too many things that just would only make sense if we're in a digital simulation, and there's no other way around it.
How do you explain all the dimensions if we're in a digital simulation?
Well, because like in a digital simulation, there's different walls that you go through, and so there has to be other things operating outside of our reality, because we're only programmed to see certain things, and that's where we are right now learning to deprogram ourselves and to basically bust through the dimensions, because we're in the third density right now. There's these beings that operate around us in the fourth density and the fifth density. Some of them are good angelic beings, and some are these reptilian beings that suck our energy and feed on the fear and negativity.
How could we be in the third dimension if we're digital, if this is all digital?
Well, because that's the programming of it. There's different dimensions, and the programming is the construct of each dimension. And so each one has different rules and settings for the whatever is in that dimension to operate under those rules and settings. And so they are based upon each dimension all the way up to the 10th dimension. And so there's it's just each one is more complex and operates, once you get to the higher dimensions, they operate out of time and space. So they don't even follow the rules of time and space. It's all ever present at all times and all access points. And that's why we experience the Mandela Effect as well, because it's like there's editing in it to where they can get, hold on, might be on the truck still. You can go get it if not. So like there's different operating standards for each one, and that's the way I interpret it, because the Mandela Effect, is one of the nails in the coffin that this is a simulation of sorts.
A glitch, you mean? Like the Mandela Effect is a guilt glitch?
Yeah, it's like a glitch because the Matrix is is such a key movie for understanding this, because like it's so much more reality. And the final Matrix that came out, where Keanu Reeves, he goes back into the Matrix and then he doesn't realize that he's in the Matrix again when he got out of the Matrix, even though he wrote the whole video game The Matrix, and it's just a reloop of whatever. And they say that, you know, we're up to like 50 years more advanced in technology than they tell us about. And we can already see them coming with the digital, that putting us into some type of VR headset.
Is God the creator of this digital realm? Like, how does that work?
He's the creator of our spirit bodies. I don't know if technically he, you know, I don't like to question a lot of the creation, because like the creation, because our earth, I think, is a part of this as well. It's a living organism. It's not something that is that's just here. So I mean, there's some type of digital occurrence with it, but at the same time, there's consciousness, and you can see that through mycelium in the earth and how it runs, and it's a vast network, but it's one living organism. Like in Northern California, there's the largest strand in the redwoods of mycelium on earth, and it's called like the largest living organism. And so, you know, there's definitely the hand of God involved, but also, you know, this is like also, you know, we're given free will, and I think that's why it's like, yeah, probably made by God, but the testing game's also a lot for wickedness to occur, because then we have the choice, and that's why it's a double-edged sword. It's beautiful that we have free will and have choice, but it's also very painful, because most of us, especially as humans, because they're allowed to social engineer us and to manipulate us and to control our thoughts. We're like one of the most docile animals in the world. Like, we fall right in line. You know, we follow orders really well. That's why our militaries are so strong, because like they can train them and program a human to do whatever they want. And so they use things like television and the media. And now, you know, with the TikTok generation, and these people are being programmed in mass in just a day's amount of time. The amount of stuff that they just scroll through and click on, it's like it just fills their head with all this manipulation.
What is crazy is, remember during COVID, there would be like an article for every number you typed in of cases. So that's crazy how these
that's more
generated, and yeah, it can't be real. It can't be like people just writing these articles with all these, you know, numbers on them. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I know there is a spirit realm to it, or a spirit aspect to it. Whether we are ones and zeros, I don't know.
Well, and see, the spirit aspect of it is what we need to come to conclusion with, is our only reality. Everything else is artificial. And even you know, Christ said, like, you can be in this world but not be of it. You know, that's what it means. Like, we are in this world, but we are not of this world. You know, we are not of the flesh. We are in the flesh. We're blessed to be here because this is fun. You know, especially when you figure things out and you can not live in fear. And this is like a virtual playground of a plethora of things you can do at any point in time. Like today and yesterday, like me and my two daughters, we had like the most spectacular time. We went to this winter festival of lights last night in Portland, and like they all over the city, they had different light art exhibits set up with like installations. And then like we went to the World Trade Center here in Portland, because they have a World Trade Center here, and they had a huge one set up there. I got some video footage and stuff I'll upload eventually, but there was like this huge rave dance party there, and like there was a DJ going, this female DJ, and then my 3-year-old daughter, I got her like this unicorn light up sword, and she was like dancing like harder than anybody on the dance floor, just getting down, just shaking her thing. And like I'm like, I told one of the people there, I'm like, you can sure tell she's the child of a raver, because I used to go to a lot of the raves back in the day, and I love that stuff. So
yes, that sounds like an amazing time. Steffi, we haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
What's your story on getting to the spiritual realm, the spirit tip? Have you always been a spiritual person, or did it come over time?
I'm going to take these off when I talk because it doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter.
I'm going to try. Like, if you start talking and it echoes, then I'll just put those back in. But let's see. Well, I think in one form or another, most of us were, maybe grew up with faith or religion or whatever, which I did, So the faith, or I guess what I called faith is, was always there, the faith, and there was something there, and I never doubted it. But I guess the true connection came when I sort of let go of what I believed it would look like and how I believed it should be. The rules that I believed I need to follow were over time replaced with the innate sense of knowing, where to get onto my path at some point, and that takes a long time. It was the second part of life, after divorce and moving and that kind of thing is when everything came to me, that little by little. So spiritual, yes, I consider myself to always be the same, but I just see things differently, meaning that I feel more connected, and I feel like the communication is there and it's real. And my mind is open to the idea that there could be any number of things at play. It doesn't have to be any one thing. Yes, there's God, but then there are other beings too, whether those are angels or spirits or whatever. I'm pretty sure I have seen and felt and heard and experienced enough to know now that, like Rasta Bear was saying, I do believe that there are different forms of life. As far as how many dimensions there are, where they are, or were they coming from the side or up above, and I'm not sure, but I definitely do feel that we are communicating. I think that when Rasta was talking to Brian, I think I mentioned in the chat too that I also think that we visit them. We may not be aware of it, but we may bleed through and communicate with them here and there too. But I don't know whether we know we are, but it's not just them. It's not like they're higher beings and they can only communicate with us, but we're just sitting here in this terrible place, in my opinion. I'm starting to believe it's more like there's just different places, and different people have they can have a little glitch where they can come through here and there. But I don't know that we're not doing the same thing in ways,
We talked about magic and how it feels like, I think, let me make sure real quick. It feels that for a non-spiritual person, when we talk about spirituality, it sounds like magic to them, like, oh, this happened and this synchronicity and this saved my ass, and I wasn't even asking about it, or I meditated and I had this vision and it came true, or I saw this thing jump up in the air and what could that be? No one touched it, but it jumped up in the air. I have a tortilla jumping story. A pack of tortillas, those pack of tortillas like this high, the round ones, the pack of tortillas. We were like barbecuing with a bunch of friends, and no joke, me and two other people witnessed it. This pack of tortillas from the table just bounces up and down 1.5 inches now, and we're like, did you see that? And then so two other people saw it, not just me. So jumping tortillas, holy moly, what's going on?
There's stories and of people levitating, and bending the spoon, and then there's also that Buddhist monk who I think he sat in the form of meditation, and he was like, in all intents and purposes, dead. I think like over like 120 years old or something. I'd have to look it up, but like he went in just like a frozen state, and he was just there in the total, just a total Zen meditation, and just these things are unexplainable through the physical, and that's where I see it as we are there is, you can just stumble upon these interactions, but like you say, Hugh, it is kind of like magic, but it's not. It's mysticism, and that's where the Rastas are all about the mysticism, the mystic works of our Creator. We don't like he works in very mysterious ways, and it's mysterious because like to those who don't understand it. But there's like in Eastern philosophies, they chant mantras, in meditation. And through those mantras, they're calling on very specific energies or what they call gods or different energies to come in to assist them, to help them through whatever they're going through. And that's where I think like that you can call on, I feel like I can call on the spirit of Bob Marley sometimes because like I feel very close to him. Like his birthday is tomorrow, February 6th. And the day he passed away and left his physical body was almost 9 months to the day before I was born. So like as he was leaving his spirit realm, like I was being conceived. And so I'm leaving his physical realm. I was being conceived and coming through into this world, and so I have this connection, and so I totally believe that you can do that, and you see that in the arts and entertainment industry with all these stars who admitted to selling their soul to the devil, because there's a positive light source ability to do this, but then there's also the negative where like you get all those things that you wanted, all the wealth and riches and the fame and all that, but you lose your soul in the process. And, I think that honestly, there's probably still even hope and salvation for those people if they truly, repent of their ways, which repentance is really just meaning to feel sorry inside and to express that sorrow outward. Because, it's like, it's a humbling thing and it's more for you than anyone else. It's like because most people in this world have a very difficult time admitting that they're wrong about anything. They have a horrible time saying they're sorry about anything, and then the forgiveness, to be able to forgive yourself for the things that you've done and move along. As long as we have air to breathe in this realm that we're in, I feel like we have all the options to make things right.
I do believe, and Steffi, chime in if you want to, but I do believe that we are battling a spiritual battle, or we are having a spiritual battle, and people are getting overtaken by spirits, whether they're good spirits or bad spirits, or would you call it spirits of light or spirits of darkness? But yes, there is that overtaking. We see it everywhere in entertainment. Even in sports, people are calling upon spirits to get more power, to get more energy. It is definitely a energy sucking type of battle, and whether you want to give your energy away to the light source or the dark source, it's really up to the individual. But I do agree that it is more prevalent now than ever. They're not hiding it. You see it a lot in the movies nowadays and music. It's really blatant out there.
It is.
But they want you to believe that it's just entertainment. It's not real. But it is real.
Yeah, so much of it is spell casting. Our English language uses spelling. It's called spelling because like everything we do is spell casting. Coming up, I think it's this next weekend. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. But like the Super Bowl, and their halftime show is always some type of satanic ritual to whatever their agenda is for the coming year. It's their way to basically introduce it into the world and open it up. And it's like opening up a pit of darkness and allowing these demonic forces to come out. Because that's something I've been, with my heightened abilities that I've been given, I've been able to like detect these demons within people. I can like see them operating to where like, that's why if you don't protect yourself, like even myself can be overcome by these demonic forces that make you act in ways that's not you. And it's like, I call it like the Agent Smith program, like how the Agent Smith can just take over anyone in the Matrix to get close to Neo to take him out. And that is totally real. And it's like through different entities that are all within the constructs. It's a lot like the Westworld show. It's very similar to that, because there's all these different, these characters, and some of them look alike, and that would totally explain cloning and things like that. And then like mix that with the Hunger Games, and in the Hunger Games, like they were all in their districts and they all had to fight for survival. Someone would get selected and fight for survival, and then it would be these games where the controllers, that's all they're doing is playing these games with us. And then they can just make fire come out of nowhere, or the ground raise up, or all these things and that reminds me of like the fires that were in California, or even, when the towers fell, like that is another way. I'm like, well, that would make total sense with simulation theory, because not only would they not have to be no planes, those could still be planes, but it's just the way the simulation planes were flying into the buildings. Then they go out through the other side, the nose goes out. And then also the way the buildings fell perfectly, just right on top of themselves. And it was kind of like a liquefaction, or like a lot of the rubble just happened to somehow turn to dust. And that could only be possible
or they just weren't there.
No, they were there, but in the simulation. That's what I'm saying. That if you say those buildings weren't there, then none of the buildings are here, and that's true in a sense, because none of them are here.
Well, Brian has mentioned that they were empty. A lot of it were empty, so that's why a lot of the stuff wasn't there.
I have this theory that a lot of buildings in our cities are empty. If you don't just random. I've tested this too before, like years ago. I would just walk through the city and I would just be like, I'm going to randomly just walk into this office building and see if they're really in there doing anything, or if it's just empty, because they know good and well that I'm not going to walk in there and check it out and see for myself. And it's like, because you never know. I mean, you look at all these buildings and you're like, really? There's someone in there now, every room of that building doing something, especially for some of these big corporations. It's like, how much work do they need to do? I mean, they have the product already. They've got it all in line. It's not something that people need to call in all the time for. So why do they need these huge office buildings full of like thousands of employees to keep this product going?
It's
wild.
We have a giant corporate center here with just tons of, maybe hundreds of office buildings, and many of them are vacant.
Yeah,
they keep building new ones. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They've always got a huge construction project going on where they got all these people working. Sometimes, I do think sometimes we do live in a simulation and the world is adjusting, and maybe the corporations are sort of crumbling on one hand, but they're finding new ways to keep people employed. So you see a lot of people on the road, like doing work that just, I know in California, we see a lot of things here and we're like, it doesn't really look like anything's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they do employ people, like a lot of these pharmaceutical companies that have people doing work on people doing computer work for years, but they don't really know what they do. Like they'll try and tell you, but really what they do is work on a computer. And that's all they know, So I do think there's kind of an element, but I wanted to say something about, you were talking about some people, whether it's a possession or something, things that would have them acting ways that they would normally not. And, how much easier would our lives be, and how much easier would relationships be, and people, if they could understand each other? Like, I've heard people say, how much easier would relationships be if someone could acknowledge someone's, their dharma, or their sign, their zodiac sign, or whatever, and understand the person. But it's kind of like what you said. What if people could understand that there is a possibility? You don't have to conclude anything, but this person's not acting right and they don't feel right and they're confused, and they feel depressed or they feel angry or whatever, and everyone around them starts blaming them. And if they could only maybe consider the possibility that there might be something spiritual going on, or it might be because of trauma, it could even be past life. There's all this stuff. But what happens is things will happen at a spiritual level. That happens first a lot of times. And so people will look to put their, what's the word? They want to, when you put it in a logical sense, they want to, am I not thinking of the word? It's a simple word. You want to turn it into
happens
something.
to me a lot too.
Justify it or explain it away.
They want to take it, instead of like seeing that it might be this or this, they want to put some simple explanation on it.
Slap a label on it.
Yeah, and so then that's where the trouble comes in, where they start having problems with people, and then they start feeling upset, and the other person's blaming them. But if people could understand that there are other reasons why, especially when something doesn't make sense and you suddenly get this black cloud over you, could be another energy you picked up on, could be something you're trying to work through in your life, could be your trauma, could be the past, it could be, like you said, you could pick up a dark energy somewhere. But people focus too much on trying to create a reason for it rather than just trying to work on it.
And
I agree.
It explains we are more than physical. Like, there are spiritual forces at play. And to, like Steffi says, to explain it away in a logical manner where the numbers all add up, sometimes you can't talk. It doesn't work that way, especially when you are talking to someone who is spiritual. They get it. But someone who's not spiritual, they're going to explain it away. They're going to say, well, that guy acted up because he has a chemical imbalance. And maybe so. However, what's behind that chemical imbalance? It could be a negative spiritual spirit, a negative influence, a negative energy. So,
and that's where society is so quick to invoke the powers and the spirit of pharmakia to solve all of these problems that could be easily solved by coming to senses with your inner self and realizing your spirit. I mean, most of these people who are on these medications, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not going to say, but like, it's like they could more than likely be healed through spiritual enlightenment and through meditation and through just like health and well-being through the metaphysical, as opposed to just asking a doctor for something to help with that. That's just going to create more side effects. That's just it trickles down through the family. And that's why like people, harp on so many people who are into like psychedelics and shamanistic tools in order to get into the spiritual realm. But those people, you go and look in any of their medicine cabinets, and they've got, some of them 10 or more different bottles of prescriptions in there that they're all taking, but they're like, oh, you like to eat mushrooms or acid or, DMT or whatever else to get out there. And yeah, they, which I primarily just, prefer cannabis at this point. But I have, I do like to take a psychedelic journey from time to time, because that's one sure tell way that you can tell that there's other things going on around you than's right in front of you. When you're on a psychedelic trip, like you're seeing things that are definitely not in front of your eyes on a normal basis. Like things are shifting. Like I've smoked DMT before and opened up my refrigerator, and everything in it's shifting into other things and like swirling around, and it's like that's wild. I want DMT though is one thing I don't endorse, because like I feel like it does invoke like these darker spirits at times, and I've seen that happen as well. And that's why like a lot of things that people are using, I mean, substances or food that they're eating, the media that they're watching, it's like a contract. You're agreeing to something with the thing that you're taking in. And so like anything, it can be good or bad, but you're still taking that contract. You're accepting the offer, and you're accepting the consequences of what may arise from you taking that offering. And I think the more that we strengthen our spiritual selves, and are more light body than we are the physical, then we can navigate through the darkness in a higher light and a higher frequency as well. I mean, that's why, like, I can be in some place like Portland, Oregon, and you all can be down there in Southern California, and like, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, either one of these places, Portland or, LA area down Huntington Beach, all that area, they're like, that's like the pits of hell, the pits of darkness. It's like, it's where like most of the operations are running full force, and people are really, their manipulation level is at their highest, but somehow we exist through it, and we operate on a higher frequency, a higher vibration, to where like I get along just perfectly with all these people. Like, we find common ground, and my friends and family, a lot of them are what a lot of people in the truth community call normies, which is it is what it is, and they are normal, because like, and it's kind of like being a NPC of sorts, and that's what it is. I mean, we were all NPCs until we woke up. That's what it is. You put the coin in the machine, and then like your character is activated once you wake up, and then you can choose to either stay awake or you can go back to sleep. And a lot of
I don't think we were NPCs. I think people are born, just like you have the indigo children, the crystal children, then everybody's a variation of something when they're born. And there was a chart I read a while back that had 5 different types of human being. I don't believe we were NPCs before I believe we were not aware of the truth, but we were always, from the time we were born, most of us have always seen something is wrong, where the NPC does not see anything wrong. They truly think that everything is as it should be. The joy that they find in life is very limited. It's only connected to material things. It's only connected to what they can get. They're very limited, but they're very even keeled with their emotions. They don't go through life feeling torn, or feeling extreme sadness or pain, or deep levels of empathy, or they don't take on other people's energy. They just don't. They're just born that way. You can see the difference from the time they're born. Like, I'm sure you noticed with your daughter when she was born the way she is. She was not, she's brilliant. You can tell that she's brilliant by her art and things she does. But you knew when she was born, so. That's where I kind of misspoke on that. It wasn't exactly what I meant, because like, I agree with you what you said there. That some of us are definitely like from birth on. I mean, I remember at 5 years old, I knew that this day would come where I would receive information and like almost like commands, my activation commands of what I'm to do and who I'm supposed to talk to, link up with, to make things happen. And I was just kind of waiting for that time. And, like Bob Marley, one of his songs, he says, once a man and twice a child, and everything is just for a while. And that is kind of like what you're saying, like when we're a child, it seems like they know everything, like they're on such, like I watch my youngest daughter, my 3-year-old, go up to other kids at the park, and she always wants to give them a hug and say hi to families and just be so kind and genuine and open and loving and caring. And then like, it's the world, and entering in, as the further we get into the manipulation of this matrix system, that's what, shuts a lot of that down. But yeah, I totally agree with you, that, especially, like you said, the indigo children, and, like how we're, they say star seeds and things of that nature. And that's where I'm totally on this other tip as well, like as a, flat earther or whatever, people get to the tendencies of saying, space is fake, and not taking into consideration, okay, well, the moon does have power, and our star charts have power, our astrological signs, the time we're born, when the stars are in the constellations are in certain places,
all that has relevance to our life. And so there has to be something else going on. And so like if it's not outer space, then it's outer dimensional. And so there are these other beings from other dimensions that I believe are here right now around us. You know, a lot of like the Lemurians and the Pleiadians and the Ashtar Command and the Intergalactic Federation.
We are not the only ones here.
That's right.
Let's take a break. Before we do that, Steffi, can you give a shout out?
Give a shout out. Okay, let's see. I have to make this. I don't know why my YouTube isn't coming in. Mr. Super Sidewinder. Ray, Boston Ray. Rachel. I don't see. That's about it in the chat, Hugh. Wait, let me go up. Call for Zero. Robert Owens. Tom. Melanie Moran. Mesa Melt. Natalie. Natalie. Is that it? I think that is.
All right. We can play some songs, and then we'll be back. Thanks for joining in.
Did you mute me again?
Do you want me to play? Is there a certain one you want me to play?
You usually play the Justin Timberlake one, but I don't know, the Usher one, or what was the other one, the last one?
I only have one of yours.
Oh. You want me to send it to you?
Sure. You can email it to me. But yes, we will be back. All right. Thanks for joining.
All right.
And we'll take a break.
All right.
Why are they faking space? Why are they giving us fake pictures of the Earth?
The currency of control is intimidation, fear of consequences. So they're the first things that have to go if we really mean it when we say we want to make a difference. And when you put aside fear of consequences and just do what you know to be right, then that control system has lost its power over you. It's lost its power over silencing you, because you won't be silenced, because why would you compromise saying what you know to be right?
This is the moment men have worshipped as a goddess.
They want 4 minutes worth, John. Well, it's 1 minute and 5.
The asteroids.
Small bodies ranging from boulders to chunks 300 miles across. Hundreds of them swinging in orbit about the sun.
All right. But we will at 5. Okay, that sounds good. You don't mind a little dirt here and there, do you, gang? No.
500 million miles out from the sun, the giant planet Jupiter, ruling 12 moons.
The Euclidean space-time is a closed surface without edge, like the surface of the Earth. One can regard imaginary and real time as beginning at the South Pole, which is a smooth point of space-time where the normal laws of physics hold. There is nothing south of the South Pole, so there was nothing around before the Big Bang.
This is called gravity.
I don't remember seeing any. No big agenda here. No big deal. These guys tell you there's no God. They tell you you live on a globe. They tell you evolution's real. They're all lies. They're all lies. They're all tied together. We're all controlled by the same people. Why are they faking space? Why are they giving us fake pictures of the Earth?
Steffi, I'm going to play your video on the next break. How about that? Welcome back, guys.
All right.
Let's add Steffi. Steffi's back. All right. Let's talk about, I shared with you guys my story of a supernatural event. I want each one of you guys to share one story of a supernatural event, a spiritual event, something you cannot explain. It could be a synchronicity that happened recently, something you're like, whoa, what are the coincidences? Or I can't believe that happened, but it happened. Like my jumping tortilla bag story.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like every single day of the past couple of weeks has been just filled with things like that, where it's just, like the other day I went snowboarding with my daughter on my birthday on the 1st, and we were driving up, to Mount Hood, and we were driving up to the mountain, and all of a sudden, like we were listening to this Kanye West song, and he said on the song, he's like, follow your dreams, right? And as he said that, there was this girl walking through the town with a snowboard, and her snowboard was faced to where her stickers were facing out on it. And right after he said, "Follow your dreams," I looked over at this girl and her snowboard, and at the top of her snowboard, in real big letters on her snowboard, it said, "Follow your dreams" on her sticker. And it was just like, blow, right there like that. And so like there's been so many of those that have come into play now, where it's like I've dealt with it on different aspects, where like I've had like these near death experiences, like like a couple years ago, where I was driving up the 101 right outside north of Seaside, Oregon. And I documented this and put it on my YouTube channel too, when I almost crashed and died. Because like I was driving up the road, and all of a sudden the car in front of me, like there was just this big commotion. The car in the oncoming lane, because it's just 2 lanes, coming on. The 101 is one of the most dangerous highways in the world. It has some of the most brutal accidents on it. And so what happened was somebody had a medical emergency in the car coming on the lane towards us. And all of a sudden he came into the other lane, clipped the car in front of me, right? And the car in front of me flipped over upside down. And there was a police officer following me. And when I saw the car in front of me get clipped and flip over, I just naturally just was like put my car down a hill and down an embankment and drive off into this ditch so I didn't die, get hit head on. And the way I did it, it was so precise that they rubbed the side of my car. There's just these tiny rub marks along the side of my car, just barely on the side. And then I went down, and I was one of the only cars that was able to drive away. And not only that, but I went and I jumped out of my car right after the accident occurred. And I went up to the car that flipped over, and they had a young child in there, and I had to like climb up because it was on its side. I had to climb up on the top and open up the door and help pull the family out of the car and get them out. But like it was just so close that it's just very, very spiritual involvement there. There was more than just me making that decision to just that split second decision to like move my vehicle out of the way.
Great, man. Great story. You almost died, and it was like that close where you guys touched your vehicle, touched theirs, and you were able to go and help save them. You could have been there, dude. Right. Angels were probably all around that event.
Well,
who knows? Maybe you were an angel to them. When you opened their door and grabbed them out. You could have been an angel at that moment too, or you could have had the power of an angel. I don't know, man. But I definitely believe that angels are around us doing stuff, guardian spirits, guiding spirits. It's all around us. Energy.
They most definitely are. Like we wouldn't make it through one day, I don't think, without their help. Like this world is wild and wicked and wild place. And to navigate through it, like we need help. And it's like they're there for us to call on them. And it's like we can just call out their names, like these specific angels, or like, we can call on Christ, or we can call on, all these spirits that are around us that want to help us, these angelic beings, the names of them, like some of them are in the Bible, but I don't let that be my bread and butter of things to go to, because like I look at it, it doesn't make sense for me for that to be the only part of the puzzle. There's other factors involved as well.
Yes, definitely call out a good spirit, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And they will give you that positive energy, that positive vibe. Steffi, you got any stories?
Steffi has a lot of stories. Some of them, I think the thing about the synchronicities is when they come on, they just come on. Like with me, it usually, I get the regular things here and there, which I just I don't try to conclude or think too much on them, because I know I look at it as just like a sign or a nod from the universe telling you maybe you're on the right path. Some things mean different things, but you get a little thing here and there, and okay, all right. But the most recent one I got, I mean, this one was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if you can hear this, but the other night I was thinking about, like after Brian did that video about, having problems with Rockfin and everything, and I started thinking about the Dose of Reality gear and, rolling around town with him when he was always wearing his hat or his shirt. How many people used to just walk up to him and say, I like that, and ask questions about that. Dose of Reality, they love it, and it looks good and it draws people in. So I was just sitting there thinking, maybe we should get more people to, get the Dose of Reality stuff because it's positive. It really gets people's interest. And I just had like not my television, but I watch Roku, like streaming stuff. And this commercial came on, and I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to play it. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can play it.
Okay, it's really short. So this is what I heard. As I went to turn it off, and right as I turn it off, I hear this.
Please, Spencer, you ever hear that movie? It's a Jim Carrey movie? No.
Did you hear that? So as I was thinking about the gear, and I went to turn, there's a commercial, and I go to turn it off, and I heard that. So that's just an example of the little things. But I remember I was telling Hugh today, like, with the 11/11 thing, probably 8 years ago when I first started hanging out in the spiritual communities, and I was really just getting all kinds of dreams and visions, and it was just nonstop. And people kept talking about the 11/11, and I'm like, I haven't gotten that. I don't really notice it, but people are saying, I'm like, maybe I'm not spiritually evolved. I don't know. And so I'm driving in my car, and I would just started thinking about how, yeah, I don't get this 11/11 thing. I don't see it. And I look up, and just as I thought that, I see the 101 North and 101 South signs next to each other. And I saw the 11/11, and that's when it started. And from there, it just was nonstop. It went on for like 8 months. It was just, everywhere in, 11/11, it's not about seeking out, looking for it on the clock or anything like that. Anyone who's gotten it knows that it just comes. It's like you will turn your head towards something and look at it, and it'll be the most unlikely experience, but you just know it's everywhere. Like I booked a client, and his address was 1111 something, and it was just, once it started, it was just nonstop. But some of the other ones, they're like way too intense to even talk about. But let me see. I'm trying to read. I wrote some notes here. Oh, okay. I got kind of an interesting story. I had a friend. This is probably 6 years ago, and he was telling me about how, the reptilians. Because at the time, I was seeing nothing but positive things and getting like these visions of angels coming to me and things. And I was on a pretty good path, taking a shift and feeling pretty good about my life and where it was going. And I said, I don't know. I hear people talking about these dark forces or, reptilians. I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I haven't seen it. And he said, well, it does exist. So I said, all right. So I just took this, I started reading this article about it. I read this article online about, the reptilians, and they were talking about it. And for some reason, the second half of the article, they started talking about energy vampires. Energy vampires, like, do you ever notice when you go to a store, people are, you can't, everywhere you turn in the parking lot, there's someone blocking you. There's a car, there's a person. Well, those are energy vampires. Not saying that there's anything wrong with those people, but you're just happening to be in an energy place where everyone's blocking you. And they were talking about this scenario. You walk in the grocery store and someone's in your way. You take a sharp left, and there's an old lady going slowly in front of you. So right after I read that article, I went to Trader Joe's, and I remember like the parking lot, I was having that experience. I'm like, oh, this must be what the guy's talking about. I literally can't move. Everywhere I turn, there's people and cars. So I park and I go in there and I notice it's like I'm getting blocked in the doorway trying to walk in front of people. So I'm in the produce department and there's a lady with her cart. And I'm trying to go to the right of her, or to the right, and she turns her cart to the right and blocks me. And then she goes, I said, oh, excuse me. And she said, excuse me. And she goes, take a sharp left. And I had just read that article about taking a sharp left, and there's an old lady there. Then I went around the corner, and there's a little kid like holding a dinosaur or a lizard, to one of the employees. And it just, the whole experience at the store was basically exactly what I had read. It was just a weird thing. And then besides that, the dreams, the visions that I was getting, like the precognitive dreams where I predicted what was happening the next day. And it was just like, it's too much for me to even talk about because it was so crazy. But yeah, I get the little ones all the time. And I just kind of, okay, I've seen so many things at this point that nothing even surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me.
So Steffi, like, what do you think, or who do you think is connected to you, Rasta and I, when we experience these?
Who do I think is coming through? I think there could be any number of things. I think it could be a past relative. I had a bunch of dreams where my grandfather kept coming in, and the first dream that he came in was I was flying with a friend, and in the dream I could feel myself trying to push myself off the ground. It's not the kind of dream that I would normally have. I'm not like that, but I ended up finally catapulting off the ground, and then I was sailing through the air, and then I said I was on a mission. I remember that in the dream. Me and my friend, we were on a mission, and that's all I know. And I'm thinking that's not my type of dream. But in the dream, I ended up, I was like floating through the sky, and I said, thank you, Grandpa. And he said, you're welcome. And it was his voice. So after that, he came to me in several dreams. And it's like he was trying to tell me something. And I could hear his voice. And that I knew 100% it was him. It's like, it was his voice, but it was even more his voice than I knew. And the last dream, it's like he would come through. And then the last time I saw him in a dream was, he kept telling me, I was like jumping around like a little kid. And he's like, come over here, come here, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what? Kind of just, like a kid. And he was like, just come here, I need to tell you something. He said, you're not getting it. And that was the last dream after a series of dreams I had. So sometimes I think it's a relative. Sometimes or maybe a lot of times with me, it might have been a relative and I didn't recognize it. But it's definitely something. And I have heard the voices of people that I know that are gone. I've heard their voices, and their voice sounds exactly like them, but it sounds different. It's almost like in a way where it's them. But it's very brief, But otherwise, I've seen like angelic beings. I'm more of an auditory person. I hear things or sense things, but from what I've seen, for me, it's been like more looking like angelic beings or something like that, or invisible. They're invisible with a voice.
Welcome to the spirit realm. Like Rasta mentioned earlier, we are spiritual beings. This is a spiritual place. Spiritual entities are all around us, whether it's in the ether or around us, behind you, next to you. This is definitely a spirit realm. I'm going to play Steffi's video. Yes, we will be back.
There is no sound. So maybe, let's see. Noxious battlegrounds. The pandemic lasts the whole year round. Every one of y'all can just be free. It's too bad that you can't
You can't
see.
see that you've gone
Mad.
Hell no.
Gotta start. Then you call it health. Yeah, you could probably sing it better than me. I don't have
without
the.
your friends. It's all lies you're trying.
Oh, we got the vax.
Oh, we're not. We're on a delay, so.
Every one of y'all can just I see. Okay. It's too bad that you can't see.
We're on a delay. So.
I'm done singing. It just. You can probably sing it better.
Oh, we're not. We're on a delay, so.
I see. Okay. Too bad that you can't see.
We're on a delay. So.
Oh.
I'm done singing. It just. You can probably sing it.
Amateur hour, huh?
There is no sound.
Because you're dealing with an amateur. Remember, guys, I don't do this very often anymore.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Sorry, Steffi. I totally messed up this time. But
yeah, I love that Steffi's writing some songs. That's really been an inspiration to me to pursue my musical career. Anybody who doesn't know, I'm pursuing my musical career in conscious hip hop and reggae, a little bit of some other stuff, maybe some R&B mixed up in there, under the artist name Andre 420. And I've been writing pretty ferociously here the past couple of days. Like even going to that light festival last night, it really inspired me. Like being around the light, it's like a signifier, like, oh, it's a light festival. And my light body is activated. So being around all these bright and shiny lights, like it lit me up. And I came home and I was like, oh, I like every other second I'm turning around, I'm writing another song and like at least getting it started. So then I can go back to the drawing boards, and solidify it once I get a track going to it with some music and figuring out what I want to do. But I've got a few parodies like you did. That I want to do like some play on some songs but every little bit of like what you've done has been inspiration to me, like many others, like Boston Ray and Christian with the level head, and now Scott on the drums, those guys, inspiration to me. Even
a lot of people have been writing parodies lately, and Christian and Ray did some, and Media Bear's like one of my favorites. I love his lyrics. I love his songs, but he started, he has every song he writes has to be a big production, right? He's got the whole video and the guy that sings, but just recently he started like doing his own singing.
Nice. Yeah, I love Media Bear. I got to meet him at Flattoberfest a couple years ago, and that was really cool experience getting to meet him there. But honestly, I enjoy the songs you write better. I feel like they're we all make beautiful music, and it's all a matter of the interpreter who you prefer more. But like, I feel yours are very heartfelt, and I like what you've done with them and put them out into the community. It's really good stuff. Shout out Tommy Tell the Truth in the chat, just here in Chicago artist. Coming up in here.
Hey, Rasta, do you want to share about your pillow real quick?
Yeah, I've got it sitting right here actually, and I would love to share about my pillow because it's the greatest new thing in in the realm. It's this right here. It's called the Rock Stone Pillow, and it's my dream come true. You know, you go to sleep and you have a dream, and then sometimes if you have a dream and it's something that you want to turn into reality, then you can make it come true. And back in the day, when I was growing up, my grandparents raised me, and my grandma, her name was Jean Simmons. She had a fabric store in the 3-story brick house that we were in, and up in the fabric store, like, she made custom drapery and all these things. And so at a very young age, she taught me how to sew. And so for this, I've always been felt guilty that I haven't pursued this more. I used to make like the patchwork hippie clothes and things like that and sell those, but those were very time consuming. And, you know, it's more of a labor of love because you don't get in payment what you get for your labor. And so you do it more out of a love. Whereas this is something where it's kind of it's a nice trade-off because I can produce these things in a fair amount of time, but I use very high quality materials. Like, this is a step up from satin. It's like a silky material. So it's the ultra smooth all the way around. And there's going to be many different styles. Like, you're going to be able to do custom pillows. You're going to be able to get custom pillow cases to go on the outside of this to protect it as well. But yeah, this is my premier debut pillow. And it's this shiny gold material. I also made one in pink that I placed on my Facebook page for my 3-year-old daughter. Had me make her one yesterday. And so, but this one here, it's not an ordinary pillow, even though it's nice and fluffy. And if you want to specify, if you want it, more firm, or if you like one I like one that I can just kind of sink into and kind of scrunch up a little bit and really get a good place for my head to sink. But on top of that, the thing that makes this pillow something very special, and once again, a crazy thing, where this was a spiritual enlightenment for me to make this pillow, was I woke up from a sound sleep at 3:30 in the morning. And this idea just was with me when I woke up. It woke me up out of my sleep, and it's you're supposed to make pillows. And it was such power. It was I sat up out of bed, and I was like, I'm supposed to make pillows. And so I thought about the whole process of this dream for a second. And then when it was all said and done, I looked at my phone to see what time it was, and it was 3:33 on the dot, which is, a lot of people want to be like, ooh, Illuminati confirmed. Well, it's I don't know. It's just, that's not Illuminati confirmed. It's just numerology and the power of numbers. That's where you talked about 1111 and the significance of that. Well, the step up from 1111, because 1 + 1 is 2. And so what I've been seeing, throughout my days, every day now, is 22s, which is another variation, like I say, of 1111, but it's angel coding. It's like a coding of signifier that you're on your right path when you see these 22s. It's it's manifestation for 1111, and then 22s is you're on point. And so this pillow here, what it has on the inside, it has this pocket right here. And if you see the pocket, it has a little squirrel and a deer in there. And this is a really soft, velvety material here. But there's even Amanita mushrooms. There's one right there you can see. And they're in there because it's a blend between the forest and the the city of what we're doing. So you can stick your hand way up in this pillow, and what's inside the pillow when you stick your hand up in it is a crystal. And see what the crystal does. This one's this one's a very special crystal. This one's more the size that will be included in your pillow. But what this does, and I've tested this now, and it the second you lay your head on this pillow, your head feels different. It feels like there's stuff going on, because my debut pillow actually has this fiber in it. There's 2 layers of fabric. One has cotton or copper embedded into the fabric in the underneath of this, And what that does, I'll show you that material here. This right here it's a copper infused fabric right here, and that's a great conductor of electricity or energy. And there's that MGMT song where they're talking about, you know, how like that's what we're here for, is to make electricity, you know, positive or negative connections. And so with that mixed with having crystal power inside of your pillow, what this does is it's right when you're laying your head on it there, and there's a little foam padding around where the crystal goes, so it's not going to be poking through and like, you know, stabbing you in any way while you're sleeping. But while this crystal is resting by your pineal gland on the back of your head, these crystals are often used for is to activate your third eye and to activate that crown chakra. And so it allows what its function is to bridge the gap between our dream world and our physical world that we're in this matrix that we're in, and bridge a gap to where you'll better not only understand your dreams and have more of a concept, you'll remember them better, but you'll also have more control in your dream world through like your physical. And the same coming back from your dream world, your dreams will be able to be manifested more prevalently because you're bridging that gap. You're connecting the the circuit there.
And what are you going to call it? What are you going to call your pillow? You come up with such great names for things, but this one doesn't have a name yet.
Oh no, it is. It's called the rock. It's called the rock stone pillow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
and people can put their own crystals in it.
Yeah, you can totally put any crystal you want in it.
Cell is here. This is really good for dreams. This is also good for the pineal gland and increasing awareness and visions. But this stuff will make you have crazy dreams.
Give me some of that.
Nice. Yeah, and I definitely do want to have variations of crystals. Also, you know, like different things like lavender. You'll be able to put, you know, like a little bag of lavender up in the middle of the pillow, which helps. It helps with calming and will help you fall asleep if you have like sleep apnea or things of that nature.
Just don't have a pillow fight with somebody with it, because you'll knock them out with your crystal.
Yeah.
What's the retail on this baby?
Well, the retail right now on a full size pillow is I'm asking for donations right now from anywhere between $77.73 and $144. And that's, you know, you get the pillow, you get a crystal, and it's all handmade, hand stitched by myself.
Does that include shipping? Does that include shipping?
Well, yeah, shipping, you know, we can work out, you know, like I say, it's like on a donation basis right now while I get up and running with my, you know, with my functionality of my website and, you know, more product availability. You know, I'm going to have kid size pillows, and also I'm going to offer discounts if you want to order in quantity. You know, the prices will vary tremendously. Like if, you know, there'll be big price breaks if you buy like 5 pillows or 10 pillows, you know, it'll, you know, I'll be able to work with you and get them on down there to like 60, you know, I haven't come up with all the pricing yet, but I know that, yeah, there's going to be different price points. That way people can get quantity, and then I'll be able to offer them in retail stores as well, like the local metaphysical shops here, where they have, you know, sell the crystals and the sage and things like that. And so, yeah, I've got big dreams and plans with going to a lot of different festivals, not only different truth festivals, but music festivals, and, you know, like the Oregon Country Fair, which is like it's a premier event here in Oregon for selling your local goods. They only allow you to sell things that you've made, you know, yourself out of labor of love there. And so this is just something I can see, like when someone buys one of these and you're walking down the path, you know, and you're at a big festival or something, you see somebody with something flashy like this, you're going to ask where they got that from. And then come and talk to me, and we're gonna have some pillow talk. You know,
man,
we're gonna, and
it's gonna be like a magic pillow ride. You know how Aladdin has that it's like the magic pillow ride.
yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it is. You take a magic pillow ride. You just like insert the crystal, which there was this cartoon, the Atlantis cartoon by Disney, and like they've got these rides on that where like they put a crystal in it, and they have to put their hand on it, and then it activates the ship, and they can take off and fly it. And it's like that's why these crystals are so significant in our reality, and most people don't touch one ever. You know, like they don't own crystals. They don't know to like seek them out for healing and for information. I mean, there's so much information alone that's stored in these things. And it's like being able to like have the ability to go into meditation while you're holding one and to be able to access that. Like the other night, I have this amethyst scepter, and I was able to astral travel with this amethyst scepter I have, where like I had it in my hands and I was in a meditation, and I closed my eyes and instantly, oh yeah, that one's dope. I closed my eyes and I instantly went to a subway car in New York City. And I was on the subway car. I could hear it going. It was like, and like, it was so intense because I could see the people on the cars and like I really feel it. I was there, and it was just so instantaneous with the amethyst. Yeah, I bet you've got a dope rock collection there, rocks and crystals. I'll go ahead.
You have to take care of them too, right? You can't, the intention is very important. I don't know too much about them, but I just do the basic maintenance. Like I know to, I put them out in the sun as often as I can, rinse them, take care of them, just make sure when you're holding them that the intention is good, that you're kind of putting the intention into the crystal when it first comes into your home. So you have to like put the love and the intention, and then it will give you the same back. It will continue to, huh?
Is my salt lamp crystal?
I have tons of those too.
Is it considered a crystal?
Yep. I mean, technically, it's a mineral, right?
All right. Before we go, I want to ask one last question. Is okay, now that maybe we've convinced our audience a little bit further that we do live and exist in the spirit realm, welcome to it. So what? Who cares? How does that relate to my truth that I'm learning, that I'm being lied to? Does it even matter that we live in a spirit realm? Why are we talking about this? How does that involve my truth? You guys have an answer for that?
For me, like I feel the need to come out and tell the world right now, because like I've been given the revelation that time is running out for mankind, in this matrix that we're in. Like we're on borrowed time right now. I mean, we see the walls closing in, like everything has its trilogy, and we're here at the cusp of like all out world war, is at our fingertips. And then in our personal areas, in our towns, they're falling to the wastelands with the garbage heaps, the homelessness, the drug addiction, all of this. Like it's coming to a tipping point to where if we don't activate our spiritual bodies and prepare to exit this system, then it's going to be too late. And that's why it's necessary to step outside of your comfort zone. I mean, if you're watching this, you've already done that to such a degree where you don't believe the media is telling the truth. And so you already are halfway there. But you just like, it's important not to let anyone put a box around you. If someone tries to put a box around you, there's a reason, because they're trying to rope you right back into this matrix loop. Because all they have to do is just pull you back in a lot of times. But you just have to push yourself a little bit further and be like, I'm not getting looped back in this time. I'm not going back to where they want me to go. I am going out of this thing, which is it's something where like I see it as, like I say, numbers coming down, and at some point it's just the numbers are going to be done, and you're not going to see anything. Like you're going to see the veil being fully lifted, and the fact that everything, because we don't take anything with you when you die. The wealthy, you don't see them coming with a U-Haul and like their bank truck and all their gold and riches. I mean, the pharaohs tried to do that. They tried to bury it in their pyramids. But in the grand scheme of things, you take nothing with you when you die. Those things are all just here to weigh you down, like a hot air balloon. Like picture we're in a hot air balloon, right? And all these attachments that we have to this reality are some of the bags of sand that are holding the air balloon to the ground. And as we relinquish those attachments, then we can allow ourselves to exit this place. That's our exit strategy, and we have to have one now. We've had so much truth offered to us. We've had so much time and resources and availability at our fingertips. It's time to not dwell on those things, but use those as tools to get us to the means of coming to terms with our spiritual selves and going into our spiritual meditation and seeking a relationship with the Creator, which also is within us, because we have the power and kingdom of God is within us. We were divinely created, and so we have that touch of divinity, the divine spark within us, and we just need to hone in on that, because I think what's coming is we're going to get more powers. Like I can already feel like I might eventually be able to shoot lasers from my eyes and spit fire from my mouth and lightning from my hands and be able to fly. Because, I feel like the constructs of this program that we're in, that's breaking in a sense. The more that people are waking up, the more that technology is caught up to the lies and tricks that they've pulled on us. Like it's so clear that that's the plan. And I've even theorized that, what if like the World Economic Forum, because like when they flew to Davos or whatever, they used pilots that didn't have the thing, to get them there. And I think that was almost like, what if this was really just the culling of the masses to where like they don't want all those people around. And so like that's their end game, is that they want us around, because they're like, well, these people are a little bit higher spiritual beings that are here. And so like all the other people who are in the dark, they need to be eliminated. And so I just thought about that recently. Like, wouldn't that be like just like a wild ending to all this?
Whew. Is that your final answer, Rasta?
Well, yeah, that, and after this, I'm going to be on Boston Ray's Level-Headed new channel. We're doing an after show and Bob Marley birthday celebration. So anybody who wants to come join that after this show, we're going to be getting live. I'm going to be playing some reggae music and having a good time. So
nice. I love Bob Marley, and his spirit will be there with you guys. I know it.
Yeah, man.
Steffi, what's your answer? Why does it matter? Why does knowing spiritual truths matter in the spirit in the truth game?
Because it's the only way. Like, it is the way that we are by design supposed to exist in this place. We've only been deceived and made to believe that all these things control us when they really don't. Sure, we let them control us for a certain amount of time, but now it's gotten to the point where they no longer work. So our choice, it's going to work eventually for the people that want to be, make the transition to, people that want to go into the transhuman side of things. And, but yeah, we have no choice. It's what we are born with. It's what we have in us, especially the ones of us who have always had sort of a knowing that this was not really right for us. Well, now we know it's not. So what you and I were talking about today is to demystify the idea, to take away that magical, that this is some mystical, magical thing, and start to realize that the only way, that's what Hugh was saying today, right? The only way that people are ever going to know it is when they experience it. Otherwise, people are trying to explain it to you, and it's not really, it's outside, and this is not to say that it's supernatural or anything like that. It could be the mind. The mind is elsewhere. We don't know why. We just know that it's outside the scope of what our brain capacity and our five senses can come up with. But when we see those things and we know they exist, and we try to put them in human words, it doesn't quite translate. So there's always going to be like a misunderstanding, you know, between the people that haven't really experienced it and those who have. And there's always going to be a sense of trying to hold back from talking to people about these things, because all they know is that that's crazy. We've always been taught that that kind of stuff is crazy. People have been put in mental institutions for similar things. So to demystify that, to take away this magical idea that it's something, like Rasta said, with superpowers, yes, I do think that anything's possible. I just think that we're so far from getting there at this point, because we first need to deal with the grasping the aspects of our human nature and what we're supposed to do, and our powers as far as our spiritual powers. And that is more on the level of knowing how to transcend this thing, knowing how to detach from the system. So when you detach from the system, again, it's something people will say, yeah, good luck, you're never going to do that. But you are going to do it, and you do it. And once you start doing it, you realize it becomes easier and easier. But again, there's no way to explain or convince people. They're going to continue to think that you're telling them about something delusional, that you're thinking you're going to go sit, like people would talk about escaping to the woods. We don't need to escape to the woods anymore. We might want to go to the woods because it's beautiful there. We might want to go out in nature and build things, rebuild, but we don't need to escape. We are perfectly fine to use technology as we need, even social media and everything like that. We should be enjoying the benefits of the advances and all the modern things that we have. But there is a way to do it in a way that you're not completely supporting this system. So I think the first step we need to do, especially since this truth community is divided now in many ways. There's, you know, people who they say they're not religious, but they're very religious in their ideals that they've been taught. And so they believe this, and they think everything's bad unless it sounds this way and looks this way. But no, we're all together in this. We all basically have the same ideas and beliefs. We just might see things slightly different. So, especially when things are divided, I think we need to figure out a way to communicate and maybe demystify this idea that the spiritual thing is just made up in someone's head. Because it's not, it's a life experience. And it's about learning to transcend that which holds you back. So once you start doing that, you realize how little your limitations are, and then you become aware of how you put them in front of you. Maybe it used to be other people, but you've gotten beyond that. And then you are the one, you're only working with yourself to get past your limitations. But if you really look at things, there is absolutely nothing standing in your way. There's only obstacles, but there's a path to every single thing you want. And it's all out there. It's all out there for everyone. We just have to know each person has to know how to get there on their own. Wonderful. And with the help of others, of course. Guidance.
And I'll say this. Let me put myself in solo mode. Is that, yes, it does matter. Is it a factor, knowing that there's a spiritual realm in the truth game? Yes. Because if it's a spiritual battle, we always know that there is hope. There is hope in the good side, the light side. Even though evil's around us and we feel it, we're given all these lies through the media and through television, through our entertainment. It doesn't matter, because once we step into the spirit realm, we know that it's not based anymore on the physical. It doesn't matter if we're a flat earther or not. It doesn't matter if the Mandela Effect is real or not. Once you step into spiritual, all that physical stuff, it takes second place. knowing that the spiritual battle going on between good and evil, light and darkness is going on today with the people around us, these spirits, entities, whether positive or negative influences, are possessing people today. Hey, who knows? You could be dealing with a negative spiritual influence. Who knows? We all have to figure ourselves out. We all have to look deep within to find out, are we being controlled by positive influences or negative influences? And we all have to answer to that. Does it make me feel happy, healthy, light, burden-free? Or does it weigh me down? Does it make me feel dense? Does it make me feel like I'm not healthy? I have no energy for life. Then you know what is controlling you and your thoughts. So that's all I got to say. Yes, it does matter. Know that we are in the spirit realm. Know that we're being observed. And that your life matters. Today matters. Even if you think that you did nothing today, it does matter. You are being observed. For some reason, we are all being observed. Whether they want our data or not, it doesn't matter. There's a higher realm that's observing us. Maybe the stars, maybe the moon, maybe the sun. Maybe everyone that has eyeballs to see is recording your move, what you say. Just know we are being observed. I know that based on my synchronicities, personal Mandela effects, crazy coincidences that happen, things that I cannot explain. It's like, come on, where's the camera? Where are the cameras? Am I being punked? It feels like that sometimes. But you gotta be able to see it when it happens. Just like flat Earth. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Just like the Mandela Effect. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And just like the spirit realm, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And not all truthers will admit that we do live in a spirit realm. So not all truthers can see it. So I'll leave it at that. Anything you guys want to maybe end with? I don't want to take it too long. I want to make it nice and short and simple, sweet. Rasta Bear, Steffi. You guys want to say anything?
You want to go first, Steffi?
I just want to say, I agree. You're on mute. Are you muted?
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah. No, I'm here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have more to say? Are you good? Yeah. It's been a pleasure having being on with both of you. You know, I see the spirit in you both. You know, I can see, you know, your glowing auras of, you know, light and your connection. And I really appreciate what you both have to say. Like, you know, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I called Steffi on the phone and I was so excited to, you know, express what I've been going through and like how it feels. And, you know, it was just so nice to be able to talk with you and to, you know, have you be able to relate and, you know, show support. And then, you know, reaching out to you as well, Hugh, to, you know, get on and to get this show together, you know, and just to know, like, there's so many of us out there who are on the fence with this topic, you know, and don't exactly know where to approach it. And a lot of times it's because we've been put into boxes. We've been told that, you know, like, we're not allowed to research certain things if we believe in this certain deity or like view, you know, our spirituality in a sense of religion. because religion, it puts a box around, the actual spirit side of it. It can be a great tool for learning resources and gaining wisdom, but, I don't think that our Creator really cares what name you call him or like how you address him. It's more to have that connection and relationship. That's why, like, like I see people in all aspects of spirituality, and they've all got these abilities and these connections with the light source energy. My vehicle is through Rastafari and reggae music, and it is a righteous and worthy vehicle to connect me with source energy. And, we all have that. And for that, and the last thing I'll say is, if you have nothing to connect to, then, check into reggae music and to Rastafari, because reggae music will lift up your day. I think, honestly, it'll help cleanse your area and even your inners of bad spirits that might be around you. Because, like, I'll be feeling a certain way, and then I'll throw on my reggae music, and, like, I'll just be so uplifted and empowered after I'm done with, because it's a meditation for me to just listen to the good music and the different singers and players of instrument. I feel like they're all divinely inspired, much like a lot of music. It's divine inspiration. But reggae music in specific, it's full of just chants and meditations and just a direct source line with the Creator, with Jah creation connection. And
wonderfully said, Rasta. And is that once you realize or admit that there is a spirit realm, that is just the beginning. It is just the beginning for you, because you will see more things happening in front of your face, real time. It might not happen every day, but when you have eyes to see, you'll end up seeing it, especially synchronicities that will speak directly to you. And I am naturally a logical person. I like to use my head and not my, suspiciousness or whatever. But there comes to a point where it's like, I just can't explain anymore. There's no logical explanation. You just have to go with it. Roll with it. And what that is the spiritual. Just know that it's there, and you will see many, many great things happen to you. And you will feel loved. You will feel like something.
And it's not about a lot of people tend to, they want to look for the synchronicity and get excited over that. It's really just more about sitting back and just being calm and starting to find yourself on the right path. Try to connect with the right kind of people. The day Rasta Bear called me, I didn't tell him this. I don't think I told him this, but as he was talking, there were these beautiful, like, blue lights, like little circle lights that look like little angels on my wall coming through the window. And as he was saying something, because he was talking and he was saying something about lights, and I turned around, something made me turn, and I saw these blue light, kind of like the dots you see behind me, but they were on my wall and they were blue. And they did, and then when I turned around again a minute later, they were gone. And I have never seen them before, and he lifted my spirits because he was in such a positive state. And that's what I love about Rasta Bear and you, and people that love to share when I feel that way too. When I'm in a good state, I want to share. I want to share it with people. And so he definitely, when he called me that day, changed the course of my day, which was, it's kind of not much going on. I'm not in a great mood. I don't feel like doing much. But as soon as I talked to him, I just felt better. He was so happy and so full of good energy. So it's not really about this dwelling on this, even though it is fun to look at synchronicities. It's about kind of finding where you think you're going the right path, where where helping people becomes an easy thing. It just becomes natural, because while you're helping people, you find that you are also enjoying it. And then those things just get easier and easier. But it's once you start getting on those paths when the things that Hugh was just talking about, start really coming to you. So they're not really just going to come to you because you really want them, although you will get little things. It's really once you start getting, when you know you're doing the right thing and you feel it in your heart and you're just like, wow, I just found this cool idea, like Rasta with his business and things. I found a way where I can make people happy. I can help the collective. I can stay in my light and do something good and make good money too, you know, and it all comes with ease. That's when you really will start to get the signs that you're on the right path, and it will be undeniable, you know. Just got to get there.
All right. We're going to end it. So definitely, if you have the link to Ray's channel, if you can post that up, that'd be great. We'll end it with Stephi's song. Stephi and Rasta Bear, thank you for joining this episode of Hugh TV. Welcome to the spirit realm. I think we have given a great introduction to the spirit realm. If you're not a believer by now, just unsubscribe to this channel because I don't know what else to tell you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know why you're watching. I don't know what other convincing that you need to hear, but maybe you need to experience it for yourself. Open up your eyes. Be open-minded. You know what? Pray. That's the thing. Pray. Just pray, and see what comes about it. I used to not believe in prayer. I used to think, oh, why pray? It doesn't change anything. But no, it does. Just the basic manifesting that intention. That is prayer, right? When you pray, you just want to have an intention that you want to manifest, and that's simply it. So pray and see what happens. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah, man. I love you guys. Love you, Hugh. Love you, Stephi. You guys are family to me, and everyone in the chat. I really appreciate everyone being here, and for all the love and support. You know, we all are a community, and we each have pieces of the puzzle that are necessary. You know, and we need to come together and form like Voltron, and take down this wicked system once and for all. So,
or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, the Power Rangers. Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Steffi, any last words before we go? I know we've had a few already. Are you good?
Thank you very much. I love you guys so much. I just really appreciate our talks and your point of view, and just encouraging me and encouraging others, and hopefully we can start making those connections with people in the community that want to take things to the next level, take things to the next level and find out how we need to stop worrying about the system and stop talking about it, including talking about how bad it is and how we need to stop talking about it. We just need to stop. We need to start only focusing on what the positive. It's going to be a challenge for a lot of people. Especially, I don't know how the content creator does it. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I probably would, but I don't want to do it because it's such a challenge to have to keep growing and changing with the times. And we're at a point right now where people are being called upon to do things like really, really tap into their creative side and start coming up with what's going to be your place in this community as we move forward to bigger and better things. So it's going to be a challenge, but I think people need to step up to the plate, and we need to start figuring out how we're going to rebuild. We're going to rebuild this world because we're not going to have a choice.
And what Michael Jackson says starts with you, the man in the mirror.
Yes, I. And kill your TV. That's my one legacy. If I could be remembered for one thing whatsoever, it's for me to tell everyone they need to rip their televisions out of their home, and immediately. You don't need it anymore. It does nothing but pollute your mind and fill you full of garbage. And so get rid of the damn thing.
Or if not, get rid of it. Maybe unsubscribe to maybe Netflix or some of these channels that you just don't need filling your brain. Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys later. We will play Stephi's song. Thanks again. I hope I'm doing this right this time. Present.
You see this fish? Is a snapper. The fishermen here use traps and catch him. Sometimes rough weather come and take away the trap with the fish in it. And this fish will live in this trap, and the trap will catch other fish and feed him until he grow big and the trap get weak. And one day, him just break out. Well, it's just so, you must know. Let us eat.
What your hands do, it's your own eyes that see. So won't you judge your actions to make sure the results are clean? It's your own conscience that is gonna remind you that it's your heart and nobody else's that is gonna judge. Be not selfish in your doing. Pass it on, help your brothers in their needs. Pass it on. Live for yourself. If you will live in vain, live for others and to live again. In the kingdom of Jah, man shall reign. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. What's in the darkness must be revealed to light. We're not here to judge what's good from bad, but to do the things that are right. On a hot sunny day, under the shadows for rescue. But as the day grows old, I know the sun is gonna find you. Be not selfish in your doing. Pass it on. Help your brother. shall reign. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner. Tina, eat. Eat the food.